KMOX News Time is 7:22. I'm Michael Calhoun out in the newsroom. Edward Jones is on a tear. As we've reported, they've reached a point that makes them one of the biggest financial services firms that are out there. $1 trillion in assets under their care. Actually, to be exact, it's $1,074 billion under their care. Managing partner Jim Weddle says their headquarters in the St. Louis area is part of a strong financial services sector in the region.
There's always been a very strong financial services representation in St. Louis, going way, way back.
When it comes to civic pride, the term Edward Jones Dome rolls off the tongue for a lot of St. Louisans. Now that the home of the Blues is coming up, is there a chance we could see Edward Jones Arena, perhaps?
Michael, when we negotiated and succeeded in naming the Rams facility, the Edward Jones Dome, we were a much smaller firm. That was a good many years ago. We had very little name recognition, very little awareness in the marketplace, locally or nationally, and it helped us to establish that. Today, with 15,800 financial advisors, with $1 trillion under care, serving about 8 million individual investor households, we've got a pretty broad awareness and a strong brand. I don't know that another naming rights deal is on our radar. Certainly, we look at all opportunities, but at this point, I'd say probably not.
Edward Jones began basically as a startup in the St. Louis area in 1922, and again, as you just heard, 15,800 advisors now. So what is next for Edward Jones? Weddle tells me more hiring at the headquarters in the county, and they have been busy building out their 2 campuses in Des Peres and Maryland Heights. Edward Jones is really a St. Louis success story. It seems like essentially you began as what we call today a startup, and you could say that you haven't gone public, you haven't made an acquisition. So to use kind of some startup language, Edward Jones has bootstrapped its way to this $1 trillion milestone, right?
I would agree completely with that. Yeah, we were founded in 1922 by Mr. Edward D. Jones, and proudly have been headquartered in St. Louis the entire time since. We grow organically. We're a partnership. You are exactly right. The men and the women that do the work at our firm own the place, and I firmly believe that owners act differently than employees. They bring their A game every day. They want to do the absolute best job they can because they own a little piece of the place.
And your expertise on the economy right now, the Dow keeps reaching new heights. What do you think? How would you characterize the way the economy is right now? And we're waiting on tax cuts and regulations and that sort of thing too.
Yeah. Everybody's focused on the market right now because, as you say, it continues to set new highs. Earnings are strong, and we're in the third quarter earnings season as those announcements are coming out. They've been pretty strong. You've got a growth agenda that the current administration has shared. They're having some difficulty getting the agenda in place, but it's a growth agenda nevertheless, and the market seems to be encouraged by that. You've got continuing low interest rates, so the alternatives to investing in good quality stocks are not perhaps as attractive as they sometimes are. And with all the uncertainty in the world, and there's a lot of economic and geopolitical uncertainty, the U.S. is a very stable, very secure market. So I think we're attracting a lot of dollars to our markets, and that's driving them higher.
And stick with KMOX News at the top of the hour. Throughout the day, managing partner Jim Weddle penned a letter to Amazon. We'll tell you what he told the company about St. Louis as it picks its second headquarters. Reporting live, Michael Calhoun, News Radio 1120 KMOX.